Hello and welcome to today's Busy Webinar. This is Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and you're on the Busy Webinar for January 21st, 2015. Your social, now what? This is Social Media 102. Excited to have you with us. We've got a ton of content to go through today, so I'm going to go through this pretty darn quickly. For the folks that are registered and that are online, the way to answer questions or to ask questions of us is to go into, if you've gone to our website, clicked on the Social Media 101, gone through the calendar, and then gotten into the article, you'll note right at the top of this article there is a link to our Google Plus page, and you can click on that link to go into this event. So if you click on this event, it's going to say that it's live. If you click this button, you're going to join the Hangout, and I'm going to have to minimize my account right now so that it doesn't double up. Website. There we go, see? And then you can ask a question. So if you go into Ask a New Question, you click here and enter Ask a Question here. So if you do have questions, be sure to add those. We had a number of questions, and we have 225 folks registered for today's meeting, so I'm expecting quite a few. I'll be checking those on occasion during the event. One note, you will need to have your Google Plus account registered, or a Google account that's registered with Google Plus, in order to ask those questions, but it's a fairly simple process, and you can do that while we're attending the event. So I'll give you a moment to do that if you need to, but let's get back to our scheduled program. All right, so one thing that I wanted to cover today is that BizzyWeb is presenting this on behalf of Constant Contact because we are a Constant Contact ALE. We're actually a platinum service provider for Constant Contact, and I am authorized to present items like this because I'm an area local expert. So if you have questions about Constant Contact or want help with your account, we can absolutely help you, and give us a call very soon at the contact information that I'll forward in a moment if you do have questions. Constant Contact has some really cool new options and things that are available for us, including newsletters and announcements, offers and promotions, feedback and surveys, in addition to the regular old email marketing that you could always do with Constant Contact. Here's my contact information if you want to get a hold of me, and you can reach us at any of those. And if you do have those questions, another note might be to just send it in to sales@BizzyWeb.com because that's probably going to be the quickest return. Otherwise, do log those questions today in the event at the Hangout Q&A. So let's do that, and let's get right into this. BizzyWeb, of course, is an online marketing company focusing on WordPress-powered web design and then all of the facets of email and online marketing. We focus on building amazing websites that are fully mobile responsive and that seamlessly integrate with social media. So you're going to hear some advanced techniques from me today. One of the things that you should remember is that your website can do a lot of that heavy lifting right from your WordPress-powered site. All you need to do is publish a new post, and everything else is magically taken care of. Let's get right into the agenda for today because we have a bundle of things to go through. First, we're going to talk about is each social network right for your business. We're going to cover Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and Pinterest. And then we're going to talk about how to create content, how others are using each of those networks, and then talk about next steps, including social media etiquette and how to know if your social networking is working for you. First up, let's go to the big dog of the day, Facebook. So, is Facebook right for your business? If you're a B2C company, the answer is largely yes. If you're doing a ton of stuff and trying to reach a broad network, Facebook is definitely your place to be. Out of the 1.5 billion users that are on Facebook, about 1 billion of those folks are on mobile devices. That's about 75 to 79%. And so make sure that you're reaching out and that your messaging is in a mobile-friendly format. If you're B2B, still a big option there for you. 81% of folks use Facebook for B2B decisions and visit pages. And nonprofits, even better, 91% of folks see some traction in nonprofit land through their Facebook pages. So if you're trying to raise money or connect with folks, Facebook is definitely a great option for you. Is Facebook right for your business? If you have the resources to support that, then absolutely. You're going to need to update your content once in a while, and I'll share with you a proper schedule for that. But if you have content to share, that's another great indicator that Facebook might be right for you. And if you need to be found, there's some great options and leverage that you can get for your local presence in Facebook pages, and we'll cover that in a moment as well. For Facebook, you should shoot for low volume and high value posting. At a minimum, you should be posting 3 times a week in Facebook, and I'd say maxing out at about 10 times a week. What you want to focus on Facebook is quality versus quantity. So as you look at this and as you're trying to reach out to your customers, Facebook is a visual format. It's a visual medium. You want to be able to post a lot of different things. You don't want to post the same thing to every single network. Of course, accepting the flat blanket messages that you send out via your website to all of your social networks. But once you get into this, at least one of those a week should be from your website or consistent across all brands, and then everything else can be inside of Facebook itself. As you're looking for content and best practices, we talked about this last week, but 50% should be to get likes, shares, or comments, to entertain and to invite conversation. Posting things up that are humorous, helpful, or interesting should be about 50% of your posts. Useful and informative tips, industry info, behind the scenes kind of information, tips that only you would know as an expert would be very helpful, and that should be about 30% of your time. And then about 20% can be about your business. That could be a call to action, not necessarily a buy now, and it says not buy now on here, but I'd say about half of those 20%, or about 1 in 10 posts, can be actively purchase now, connect with us, special dealer offer. The trick is you want to get people to do something relating to your business. One specific type of content on Facebook is text updates, and here's some examples of those. You could do fill in the blank. You tell us, what I don't understand about Pinterest is blank. And then you'll see that a lot of folks will respond to that if you have high engagement on your Facebook post. A question. What would you do to, or what would you call this functionality? Account owners can create different logins and then let them fill in the blank and just reply. That's great for a lot of replies on your notes because people can just reply A, B, C, or D. And then fun facts or tips. So like if you love it, 6% or 67% of all new jobs come from small businesses. Quick, easy, fun, interesting, great content for you to publish. Visual, of course, is a huge winner. Photos and videos, which is my new favorite way to integrate or to engage people on Facebook. Now inside of the Facebook newsfeed on both mobile and web, you can reach out and videos will auto-play in your timeline. And so make sure that your video makes sense even without audio, and even in the first like 3 or 4 seconds of that video. So make sure that you're doing that. And then digital content like graphics or other images can be very helpful as well. This is where you're going to want to grab your screen grabbing device of choice. If you're on a Macintosh, you can do Command-Shift-4 and do a screenshot. If you're on Windows, you can do Alt Print Screen and paste this into your document of choice or your document editor of choice. But here's a quick worksheet for you to fill out your Facebook content. Again, 50% should be to get likes, shares, or comments. 30% is useful and informative, and 20% can be about your business with calls to action. So fill out some of that and check it out. And again, as a reminder, if you do have questions, feel free to input those here and we'll answer them as we have time. You also are going to want to create an editorial calendar. And again, as we talked about this, you want to have between 3 and 10 posts on Facebook, ideally, if you're a B2C organization that uses Facebook all in. So think about what you want to post and make sure that you mix it up among the 50-30-20 rule of thumb. Be flexible and leave 1 or 2 posts open for something that's going to come up. Here's how Boloco is using it, and we have some options. They ask a bunch of questions. They share multimedia, and they offer helpful advice. very, very cool stuff that involves their fans. So you can see a lot of people posting inside of their Facebook feed. That's because they're doing the right stuff. I'm hearing that there might be some technical difficulties, so stand by one moment, please. So I want to make sure that we've got everything set here. I'm going to swap my screen over and just check on something here. Everything looks good. So hopefully we're still okay. If you are having questions, I'm seeing the screen live, so hopefully everybody's good. Bilal says that he had to go to his phone, so apologies for that. And if you do have those questions, let me know if there's something specific we can help you with. All right, so skipping back over to Boloco and moving forward. Again, this is going to be available for replay, and so you'll be able to review this and check it out next time or after this event is done. So make sure to check back if you missed part of the event. What do you want to do next? First, try a fill-in-the-blank question or a post. Try creating and sharing visual content, and monitor your page to make sure that your content is engaging. If people are liking, if people are connecting, sharing, and asking more questions, then it's a good indicator that your content is really working. So make sure that you check that out, and that's your barometer. And in general, in social media strategy, you want to just set what your real goals are. It's not going to be to have as many likes as possible on your page. It's going to be to get them to take some physical action. What's the one thing that makes the most sense to your business? Is it more people coming in the door? Is it more phone calls? Is it leads that you can curate and Tinder and connect back with via your email marketing? Make sure that you're getting all of those leads or connecting with people in that way, and use that as your measure of success. All right, let's get into Twitter. This is one of the networks that makes a lot of sense for a lot of companies, but you have to publish a lot quicker than most, and it's also a very text-based format, so let's see if it's right for your business. For B2C, 80% of them use Twitter. B2B, it's actually a little higher, with 85% of folks using Twitter, and that's business to business, so businesses that work with other businesses. And then nonprofits, about 69% of those folks use Twitter. Is it right for you? Well, if, again, you have the time and resources to help folks update or to keep up with Twitter. If you can create content and curate content, find links and helpful bits of information to share, Twitter is going to be great for you. And also, if you can monitor your content, because when people at you or text you or send you direct messages, in Twitter it's an immediate medium, so you have to be able to and willing to respond quickly. If you're a thought leader or you want to be a thought leader, Twitter is also probably for you. And as a matter of fact, that's a great way to get to know Twitter. Find some of the people that you admire most, some of your competitors or some of your complementary businesses, and ask folks what they think, or follow them and see what those folks are posting. A great example of that is Guy Kawasaki. He posts a lot on Twitter. I'm talking like 30 or 40 times a day, and he has a lot of his content reposted over the course of a day. That's an extreme version for a lot of us, but that's a great example of, or Guy's posts are a great example of what content can be when taken to an extreme on Twitter. For content, it should be high volume, but not necessarily high value. You're not going to spend hours thinking about what you're going to post into a tweet. You're just going to get content out there that's helpful, interesting, and relevant, and probably supports your website and your other content. You're going to want to probably post between 5 and who knows how many per day. And the key is you're going to go with how much interaction you have. There's Twitter statistics out there now, and actually if you just Google Twitter stats, there's a few great tools that are going to help you with that. The key is that you need to post a lot on Twitter, because inside of the Twitter stream, there's lots and lots of posts. As soon as you follow more than 100 or 200 people, you'll notice that whenever you hit refresh in your Twitter stream, you get several to several dozen to several hundred new tweets. And so the key is you're just kind of shouting into the traffic, shouting into the static of the world. And so the more the merrier in Twitter. For content best practices, you're going to want to create content versus curate. Some of each, but when you do this, creating is posting to your blog post or connecting about your blog post. This is the thing that WordPress can automatically do for you. Or you can curate. So for example, if you find a post or if you find something that's smart out there that you'd like to tweet about, posting that link. You'll note that both of these are Owly links, ow.ly, and that's from Hootsuite. And so this is using a tool to curate that content. Retweets are akin to sharing the love. So if you have something that you're following or something that you've searched for example, if you're searching your competition or your industry and you find something very helpful or interesting and you want to give a hat tip to the folks that provided that helpful bit of information, retweeting by clicking the retweet button. You used to have to do RT and then copy the contents of that tweet in, but retweet equals sharing the love and helping people out. So hashtags are also a great way to reach out and to connect with what a lot of other folks are saying. But you need to be careful about hashtags because hashtags can be galvanizing. Hashtags can be used across a lot of different social networks. They're all of the little codes that you see with pound symbols in front of them. So in this example, there are 2 hashtags in this tweet motivating hashtag quotes for hashtag small business owners, Owly, blah, blah, blah. So in my opinion, these aren't great hashtags because if you're looking for quotes, I guess you might search for that. But the key is you want to find hashtags or use hashtags that people could either reuse or link into hashtags that are popular. There are a lot of folks that tweet about a lot of different things. This is like a bookmark for helpful information down the road. They are used across social networks, and the pound symbol is kind of the status quo. Facebook uses hashtags, Twitter, of course, Instagram, Pinterest at some level, but really all of this kind of focuses on Twitter as far as hashtag, and the point is really getting content out there. To create a hashtag, all you really need to do is do the pound symbol and find a code that's not being used. So search your hashtag before you use it, but then you just click it, enter in that hashtag, and use that as your content. You'll see this a lot at conferences or any time where people are talking about a specific thing, and you'll notice that it's all over pop culture now. TV shows, the Golden Globes, the Oscars, everybody's hashtagging everything so that they can talk about it and everybody can link in and add to their discussion. You don't want to overdo the hashtags, and I've got a slide at the end about hashtag overuse, but make sure that you're not overdoing your hashtags so that people don't get bored or over inundated with all of the little codes. It might mean something to someone, but think about if you were to say hashtag 17 times inside of a conversation, people would get pretty annoyed with you. And so if you would get annoyed with you saying hashtag 3 times, you might not want to put 3 different hashtags in any given post that you publish. Text updates are a great type of content as well on Twitter. So posting with a link, stats, facts, or tips, such as 82% of small businesses are registered, would you have guessed, is followed by YouTube, or quotes, you may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try, by Beverly Sills. Don't get caught up into being a one-trick pony on any of these. Certainly if you just post quotes and that's all you do, anyone can go to Quote of the Day website and find the same content or maybe better. So post things that are helpful and useful to you and your clients or your intended audiences, and make sure that you switch it up. To that end, you can type or you can add visual content to Twitter now, and it shows up right in your timeline. Photos are added in an embedded format, as well as videos, and of course graphics inside of here. You'll note that there's a little bit of code at the top of the event or at the top of this Twitter pic. It's pic.twitter.com/blah blah blah, and then it automatically includes that. It shows up automatically in most tools that you use to browse Twitter, including the web and the official Twitter app, but not all Twitter apps use it, so you're going to want to be careful with adding content and relying on that content. Here's your screenshot space. Make sure that you, again, take that screenshot and use this for later, or send us an email if you'd like us to connect back up with you and give you these slides. But your Twitter content, you know, five to however many you want per day. Plan 4 tweets and leave one open for something that happens during the day. And again, this is if you're going to go all in on Twitter and make it a dedicated strategy for your business. So think about what planned content you're going to post. Maybe it's a blog post, maybe it's a question or photo, a tip, fact, or stat, and then think about something else and add that. Don't forget conversations as well inside of Twitter, retweeting, adding people, meaning the @ symbol, and connecting with folks in conversation. All great uses of Twitter. Here's how the Courier Museum of Art is using Twitter. They post news and events. They share fun facts. So we love that she's still getting letters from our visitors at Huff Cut Tea. Retweets others, focusing on content that other people are connecting with. And of course, curating content, so finding videos and helpful information that they can tap into. What to do next on Twitter? You know, again, tweet at least 5 times a day. And give it a shot and stick with it a while. And you're not going to want to go in on all of these networks and go right to the max. This would be jumping right into the pool and swimming a mile when you've never swam before. So make sure that you're taking small strokes and maybe try one thing at a time. Share that curated content and then retweet or thank a follower. You know, those are certainly easy things to do. Connect up and make personal connections with as many people as you can on Twitter in particular. LinkedIn is a wonderful tool to use with your business, in particular if you're using or if you're a B2C or in particular a B2B company. So for business to business, 91% of those folks use LinkedIn, and 53% of nonprofits tend to use LinkedIn as well. Is it right for you? You know, if you're B2B, if you're working with other businesses, it's a perfect strategy for you. Make sure that you're connecting up and going together as much as you can. If you want to be a thought leader, LinkedIn is the place for you. This is where professional people look to connect with other people in their professions. So make sure that you're connecting up with them as much as possible. If you have a low volume and high value of content, LinkedIn is going to be for you. And you're going to want to post about twice a week, but probably no more than once a day or 5 times a week. So if you're seeing that and everything seems to be working for you, that should be perfect. And then it tends to be more formal and technical content-wise on LinkedIn. Pages versus profiles. Here's the difference between a page and a profile. You know, your personal profile, or this is an example of your page. And if your page is set up, you'll note that it's a company page. It's information about you and your company. If you're managing this well, you're having posts to your website or other helpful content versus your personal profile, and that's information about you. A lot of people do this in reverse, and they use their personal profiles as their business pages. The key thing is that you want to be careful with your personal profile so that no one is connected with you in an improper way or that you're oversharing information. But in general, personal profiles aren't publicly searchable as far as the content on them, whereas company pages are. So if you're using or if you're trying to share information that you want to be broadly accessible or searchable and or help you in search engine optimization to get found better, then a company page is the place you should be. Fill out all of your information on your personal profile and add content to your company culture, your products and services, and your recommendations on LinkedIn. So, content types about you, product updates, stuff behind the scenes, telling people what it's like to work or to be you in your career, and then recruiting information is also very helpful and informative and an easy get on LinkedIn. You can actually do a number of different searches, and LinkedIn actually allows you to do up to 10 different job-related searches. You can use those to find leads for your business if you're in B2C or B2B, or you can connect up and try to find your own new career inside of LinkedIn's networking tools. Useful info include things like blog posts, and again, this can come from your website and it can automatically post. Guides and ebooks, if you find a place that you can curate, or if you write white papers, great way to add to your email marketing list as well as industry news. So information about you and your company. People are connecting with you on LinkedIn because they're interested in you as a professional. They're interested in what's happening and how they can learn from you and or do business with you. So LinkedIn content. Here's again that screenshot space. Post at least twice a week. Share content that's about you and your company, and post things that are useful for your audience, specifically in doing something with you for your audience. That's where you're going to get the most traction. But make it about you and useful information about you and your company inside of LinkedIn. Here's how Market Me Suite's using it. You know, they're posting a lot of content and information on their company page. They ask questions. They share multimedia. In this case, they're linking to something on Pinterest. And they're being very helpful in the content and information that they're sharing. What to do next on LinkedIn? Of course, fill out everything on your page as well as your personal profile, and get into LinkedIn at least twice a week to keep up. Now, this is a place where you don't have to post every single second of the day, but make sure that your content is more helpful than quantitative, so more quality than quantity. And share something about your industry. People want to know that you're an expert in your field, and no better way to do that than to share a little bit of what's behind the curtain. You don't have to share everything, of course, or give away the farm, but make sure that you're sharing helpful tips, tricks, or information that you wish your clients knew if they were going to make a decision about working with you. Google+. This is one of those spots that it's a little bit complicated and not everybody really gets it. I think because it never really took off as far as what Google was trying to do with it. You'll see that in the numbers. 55% of B2C companies use Google+. 55% of Google Plus users in B2B spaces are active. And then for nonprofits, it's even smaller at 23%. Here's the thing, though. Is it right for your business? It is if you're a content creator, if you have the time, of course, but here's the kicker. If you want more search engine optimization value, if you want to rank well on Google itself, you want to be on Google+. So talking about SEO, Google uses an algorithm for everything that they do to publish content or to rank your company and the things that you want to rank for and to get you links onto your website. You need to create fresh content regularly in order for that to pop up, and of course use the right keywords. But Google really loves their own tools, and so the best way that you can really dig in, and one of the key killer tips for getting involved in Google Plus at all, is that when you publish to a Google Plus page, that's what, and you link to your website, that's what Google Plus or Google calls a spark, and sparks are very good indicators of high quality content for Google. They're a great page rank influencer. So posting content on Google Plus is a great play to help you get found better on search engines. Google Plus content should be medium volume and high value. You can post a little bit more on Google Plus, and as a matter of fact, you're going to want to go between 3 and 10 times a week on Google Plus. You'll note that BizzyWeb publishes all of our BizzyWebinars to Google Plus, but also anything that we publish on our website, we publish on Google Plus because we want links back to our website from Google. And so this is a great way to get sparks, and keywords equal searchability. So make sure that your posts feature keywords that you want to be found for right on that site. Useful information on Google Plus includes things like blog posts, and this is again content on your website that you're linking back to Google Plus from. Handy tip, if you add information or grab content from one of your articles on your website, ideally that has the keywords that you're looking to get found for, and then you just paste in the URL to that blog post, Google's going to take care of the rest. So you see here 5 ways to see how new customers are finding your business. That's just the image that they found right from their website, and Google automatically grabbed that. BizzyWeb takes it one step further, and we proactively push out that content from our website. Everything that we've shown you today as far as posts can be done via your website alone if you wanted to just focus on your site as a social media outreach tool. The key is you do want to be a little bit more proactive on different networks once you get serious about social media, but certainly having all of that content out there is a great way to start. You can also post events on Google+, and that's actually what we did today with our Google+ Hangout, and industry news. One thing on Google+ that I didn't cover is the ability to have multimedia out there, such as photos, videos, but Hangouts on air as well. So photos, there's a thing called Auto Awesome on Google+. If you link your phone, especially your Android device, to your Google+ account, if you take a burst mode of photos, Google+ will automatically make that into a animated GIF or GIF, depending on your preference. And it's easy, incredibly dead easy, to add videos to your online marketing via videos or via Google+. You just paste a link to your YouTube video or some other network, or publish right from your iPhone or your Android device, and it publishes that content right over and embeds it in an easy-to-view format. Graphics or e-publications are also very good on Google+. So again, screenshot time, Google+ content, post at least 3 times a week, share content your audience is going to find useful, try sharing multimedia, including using Hangouts, and in particular Hangouts on air. If you wanted to have an event or a feature, much like the BizzyWebinars are, you can just publish those right through this content or right through Google+. You go into Google+, you add the link to your event, and click the button for a new Hangout, and you're off to the races. There are a few other things that you need to do, and I have, from about a month ago, I have a BizzyWebinar on how to create Hangouts. So go ahead and check through the BizzyWebinar archive at bizzyweb.com/events for more information. Here's how Geek Girl is using Google+. They share their blog posts, so you can see content here. They provide industry news, so they're linking back and connecting out. And then they post events. And inside of Google+ events, again, there's the Auto Awesome feature, but anyone that registers for an event on Google+, if they have a Google+ account and they're shooting photos or videos, they have the option to automatically add all of the photos and videos taken at that event directly to the event page on Google+. Super, super cool and fun. So same thing with photos. Geek Girl posts a lot of photos on here. This is a great and easy way to reach out. And again, you're just using online tools or using your phone to publish content up there. One thing that Google Plus really is it's a little bit more of a lighthearted tool. So don't be afraid to share humor on Google Plus as well. And so this is a cute photo that they were able to share. It's a picture of a cat. And if you notice on the second one, when they're plugged in, the eyeballs glow. So what to do next on Google Plus? Share your blog posts, post photos or videos, use keywords that will get you found. And again, with Google Plus, don't be shy, and in particular, try out the Auto Awesome features as well as the links and the Hangouts feature to make sure that you're getting the best results. Let's talk about one of the new kids on the block, Pinterest. Is Pinterest right for your business? You know, about 53% in B2C say that it is. A little less in B2B, which is not surprising at all. But perhaps surprisingly, nonprofits have not yet caught on to Pinterest, although I would guess that a lot of nonprofits have a lot of visual content that they could share, pictures of their events or their folks, pictures of things that they affect or that they do. Pinterest could be a great way for people to connect. Basically, Pinterest is one of the best ways to share content that's visual, whether it's images or videos, and content that's trends toward the crafty folks. So people who are into scrapbooking, Pinterest is really like a virtual scrapbook, and so works out really well for that. We actually have a number of clients that have e-commerce tools, and they post pictures of their unique or handcraft related crafts and get great traffic from that on Pinterest. Is it right for your business? We already covered this. If you have products to sell, it probably is, especially if you have images to share. So if you're selling projects of selling TPS reports, Pinterest probably isn't for you. If you're a handcrafted good maker, my goodness, I would definitely be on Pinterest. If you want to build awareness of your brand, Pinterest is great for you. Pinterest content, again, high volume and high value. It's saying 5 times a day for Pinterest, and I guess for folks that are very, very active on Pinterest, it could happen that much. What happens for me on Pinterest is I'll go through spurts. So I'll be browsing something, and there's a quick little pin it button that I'll cover in a minute on your browser that you can add, and you get a choice to basically click pin it, grab the image that you want off of that website, tell it what board you want it to go to, and add any commentary. So if you're on a serious browsing binge, it's easy to do 5 to 10 pins. And so, I can see how that would work, but you want to make sure that your images and the quality of those images is very high. And so it's very important to have good images instead of just posting a lot of weird stuff on Pinterest. If people don't find value in your boards, they're not going to follow you. So here's why visual content is important. 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual, and photos are liked twice as much as text updates, in particular on Pinterest, of course, because there's just no real way to post text images or text-based posts, and I don't know why you'd want a visual board of text image or text-based things anyway on Pinterest. 67% of folks, in fact, say that images are very important in selecting and purchasing a product. So if you're doing Pinterest, make sure that you're spending some time in curating great comments or great imagery versus just posting up silly stuff. So if you do have an e-commerce related connection, it makes a lot of sense to reach out directly to those folks and to make sure to spend some time making sure that all of your product photos are beautiful and engaging, and even better, a little quirky in some way to get the most traffic out of Pinterest. So on content for your Pinterest board, your company board, focus on products, focus on digital assets, and then, of course, focus on photos and videos. You can do collections and you can curate those pictures. Inside of that middle digital asset spot, you'll note that those are boards, and so you can add different things to that board. And there's content and links inside of each of those that take you back to the original pages for that content. And that's the way Pinterest really helps businesses grow traffic to their websites. Make sure that your content is useful and interesting. Again, curated content. In this example, there's a lot of bars and graphs and interesting things. I do infographics on our BizzyWeb Pinterest page. It's probably one of the easiest ways to connect and curate content. Try to make sure that your content is original and or especially not directly competing with you, so you wouldn't want to post pins to your competitors. However, if you do have common referral partners or network connections that you can tap to link to, if you drive traffic to them, certainly they would be pleased about that and hopefully share content and traffic back to you. Blog posts, as long as you're posting a helpful, handy blog post, if you give it a great image to go with it, that's going to be where you're going to get your content and your traffic on Pinterest. And then quotes or tips, there's a lot of neat little tools and apps even on iOS and Android that help you do cute quotes and make them image-based. So if you're going to do text, make sure that you make it look interesting in order to get traffic on Pinterest. Here's your screenshotable opportunity. Pinterest, pin at least 5 times a day, content that's about you and specifically about how you can help your customers and your prospects. Share useful and interesting information. It's all about the visual on Pinterest. So, between the 2 about yous, whether it's products or services or digital assets, and then useful or interesting curated content, blog post with tips and inspirational quotes. Again, make sure that it's image-based, has a nice background behind it. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, and there are free apps all over the place to help you do that, including, and probably easiest, Canva. Canva is a very easy tool to create graphic and text-based infographics. And so if you want to make something pretty that you want to pin, Canva is a great option. Here's how Unique Sheep is using Pinterest. They pin their products, of course, but then they also look at useful pins, and that might be related to the products and services that they already use. And then they curate content, so things that they've found all over the web, as well as how to. So they're trying out, here's how to create carrot zucchini bars. What do you want to do next with Pinterest? Create 3 or 4 boards to start. And again, those are collections of information. When you go through the pinning process, you're going to create a pin it button on your browser. And then as you browse the web, you're simply going to click pin it inside of that browser. And then Pinterest asks you what image from the page you want to use, what commentary you want to supply to that, and what board you'd like to add your pin to. And then finally, provide a description and link in your product pins. So here's where the rubber's going to meet the road. I'm going to get into next steps now. So let's just take 1 second and go back, make sure that we're covering all of our questions. Looks like we don't have any new questions on here, so hopefully everybody's going well on here. I am going to add out again and say if someone wants to ask another question, go ahead and send a note to sales@BizzyWeb.com if you wouldn't mind, because it looks like Google Plus is having an issue with the questions. We're not able to ask questions right now or answer those questions. So if you do, let me just do a quick test here. Testing and ask questions here. It looks like it's still working. Okay, good. So if you are seeing some concerns or some issues, or if you have questions in particular, please go ahead and add those to the Q&A tool as our first option. You can also send a note to sales@BizzyWeb.com if that's missing. But let's get right back to business and cover our next steps. The next thing that you want to make sure that you're connecting on and looking at is etiquette. So here's that hashtag image that I was talking about. It says on here, hashtag if, hashtag you, hashtag could, hashtag stop, hashtag writing, hashtag like, hashtag this, hashtag in, every social network. That'd be great. So make sure that you're thinking about this. And if it sounds, just try repeating hashtag in front of any hashtags that you use. And if your tweet or your Facebook post or your Pinterest account or any post that you make in social media sounds overly hashtagged, then you're going to want to look out and be careful for what you're doing. So here's some other do's and don'ts for social media. One of the biggest is not completing your page. Your Facebook page, your Google Plus page, your LinkedIn page, your Twitter account for your business, all of them need to have complete information. So make sure that you fill out all the information about your business, add your logo, and add photos as necessary. Don't just talk about yourself all the time either. The key is to balance information about you with helpful, entertaining content. And again, think about the 50-30-20 rule. Only 20% of posts should be about you. 30% of them should be helpful tips and information about you and your company and things that you wish people would know. And then 50% should be interacting and sharing helpful and interesting information. I like to say that there are 4 big steps in social media: engage, inform, capture, and convert. Most of what you're going to be doing is engaging, 50%. Informing is another 30%, and then capturing and converting is about 20%. Infrequent posting or posting too much is important not to overdo. So go by the guidelines that we posted. Some of those sound pretty aggressive, especially if you're not heavily involved in social media. For example, I have a social media company, and I don't post more than once or twice a week to my Twitter account. But if Twitter was the only strategy I was using, then I might be posting 10 or 15 times a day. The key is go for what works for your company, and then make sure that you commit to it and that you're consistent with it. But again, don't overdo it. Ignoring your fans is a big no-no, of course. You know who your fans are, who your followers are, who you're connected with. make sure that you say thank you and you answer their questions in social media. People are going to hashtag you, they're going to @ you, they're going to send questions, they're going to post on your Facebook board. Make sure that you take the time to interact with them and make it a community. Social media is a conversation. Think of social media as a cocktail party. You wouldn't ignore everybody in the room. So make sure that you connect out. And it's almost like the new way of communicating in business is being a party host more than anything else, where you're making sure everyone feels included and that you're providing and steering conversations. If you're doing that well, you're going to do very well in social media. And finally, don't delete negative comments. You know, people can say some pretty terrible things. Most of the time, they just want to be heard. So make sure that you create helpful and create a positive experience for your clients. If people post questions or concerns, make sure that you answer those concerns as quickly and consistently as possible. And even if people are obviously maybe not well, to put it politely, make sure that you interact with them and take that conversation offline, because people just want to be heard. So if someone does respond to you or post something negative on your social media, you know, take a little bit of time to connect with them and just to listen to what they have to say. You know, you don't have to admit liability or overshare things or, you know, overdo it on the apologies, but just saying, I'm so sorry that you had that experience and wish that we could help some other way, and let us know or connect with us if you continue to have issues. Also, don't forget to provide context, but instead include comments when sharing. So as we look at this, and as we kind of come to our final steps in the Social Media 102 course for today, you know, knowing if your social media is working, you know, here's a few key rules of thumb. We talked about 50% should be being engaging. So look at your engagement. Look at what people are saying. If people are replying to your content, if people are liking your page, if they're connecting up with you, if they're sharing your content, that's a great indicator that your content is wonderful. So if you get more followers consistently, and if you see that your fan base is growing on any of these networks, that probably is a good indicator that you're doing something right. But you need to measure and see which posts and which types of posts get you the best result, and do more of that. The final thing that you need to think about as far as that is that it does take time. You know, you can't expect to start up a Twitter account and have 50,000 followers tomorrow. There are ways to do that in short order in general, and I didn't talk about this before because it's a little bit atypical, is, you know, just you can get a huge following by following a huge amount of people yourself, but until you have great and helpful content, smart and savvy people, or certainly the people that you most want to have as followers for you on any of these networks, need to see content and need to see that you're a real person or an active organization on their social network of choice before they really decide to interact with you. And what you should see is a gradual improving trend. You may have an ALS Ice Challenge experience at some point, and if you are, certainly give me a shout out for that. But you know, the key is, you know, make sure that you're consistent, that you're thinking about this from a strategic standpoint, and that you're just making it a point to do something every day or at least every week in social media in order to get your best result. Finally, just go do it. You know, choose the networks that work for you. You don't have to jump into all 5 of these right away. And as a matter of fact, there are a few that I didn't talk about, like Instagram, Snapchat, House, and a number of others that may work for you. And it really depends on your audience and about how well you're able to curate that content. Choose what works for you, but don't try to do everything right off the bat. You know, there is a caveat here. If you set up your website perfectly, if you set it up well, you can set up your website to auto-post to all of your social networks. Think about the content that you could share with everyone simultaneously, and you have to author it in such a way that it's able, or it's just as good for consumption on Twitter as it is on Facebook, as it is on LinkedIn. And if you can have that kind of E for everybody content, that might be a good stop or a good first step to get out on all networks. But then work up what works best for you and start doing a little bit more individually and uniquely on each of these different networks. Use the worksheets that I shared with you to get you to connect up and to reach out. Make sure that you're thinking about what you need to do and how you need to do it, and make sure that you're rounding out your content so that you're more than a one-trick pony. Try the next steps that we suggested for each network, and then of course keep track of your audience engagement. If you look at your audience, if you connect up, and if you really take into account what's happening and then measure and adjust your response for each of those, you should see some pretty impressive results inside of the span of 3 to 6 months in social media. You know, you might hit some big ones right off the bat, but be gentle with yourself and your time, and make sure that you're taking care of or allowing yourself time to succeed in social media, because it takes a while to get good at crafting conversations. As we round out here, I'd like to remind everyone that we do have a special offer for Constant Contact. Most of the folks that are on here are Constant Contact clients, and so if you don't have an account yet and you're interested in setting one up, get a hold of us via the link at BizzyWeb.com/cc and request an account. If you pay for an account and get set up, we're going to create a free template for you in Constant Contact to mirror your website if you sign up and get on a paid account. So that's a $199 value. Very simple, very easy, and we'll take care of you very well for that. And then do take Constant Contact for a spin if you've not yet. The basic, just email only, is $20 a month for up to 500 contacts. The essential, that includes landing pages, campaigns, email marketing and event marketing, surveys, and social media enhancements and integrations, is just $45 a month. It's one of the best dang values on the web. And then the ultimate is if you want to just work with a professional, with a real person right away, and have them help you set everything up. Here's a quick overview on what's included in Basic, Essential, and Ultimate. But as you'll see, Essential includes a few basic things that the basic account doesn't include. Campaign design and autoresponders included in those. Autoresponders is if someone signs up for your email marketing list, and you can automatically send them a series of emails designed to get them to take that next step for you. So it might be a trickle campaign. It might just be sending an automatic message back saying, thank you so much for joining our list, and here's some helpful resources. Very exciting and very helpful tools. And then Ultimate also does include that personal marketing coach. So for that extra bit of cash, gives you a huge way to really make an impact in your online marketing. Let's wrap up. BizzyWeb, of course, does web design, and we build our websites so that they seamlessly integrate with social media. When you publish to a BizzyWeb-powered website, and if you look at any of our social accounts, you'll note that anything that we publish on our website also goes out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, and sometimes Pinterest, depending on the account and the necessity of that tool. And that's all automatic from our website, and all of those links are our actual website links, so they're fantastic for search engine optimization. We also offer WordPress web hosting, and we include a number of tools and helpful tidbits, including automatic management and monitoring of your website. We make sure that you don't get infected with any malware or any crazy stuff, and we automatically update all of your content, your WordPress installation, your software, and your plugins for you each month. We also do online marketing, including and especially Constant Contact. And so if you need a campaign or a way to help you grow your business, check out our Buzz Builders online marketing programs. And then be sure to join us every single Wednesday. These busy webinars, they're usually a half hour, but this was pretty in-depth. So if you have a half hour each week, go to BizzyWeb.com/events to register and watch our online marketing events. We talk about something different each week. Next week, we're going to talk about web don'ts, things not to do with your website. And then over the course of the next month, we're going to have a couple Constant Contact related events, and then a couple other non-constant contact related events about online marketing and about web design and help. If you would like to, you can ask questions during the event and get all kinds of helpful information and tidbits. But if you'd like more detailed information and a little bit more helpful info regarding your company, go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz and fill out a Buzz Report request form. What we'll do from the information that you fill out is look at your website, your search engine optimization, and each of your social media accounts and tell you what's working for you, tell you what's not working, and help you design a plan for better success. Our basic version of that Buzz Report is free to you, and then if you decide to take it to the next step, we have Buzz Reports starting at $50 and going up to about $250 depending on how active you'd like us to be and how much coaching you'd like for your social media and online marketing initiatives. Again, I'm Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, and I don't see any more questions coming in, so I'm going to close down the Hangout here. If you do have any questions or concerns, by all means get a hold of us at sales@BizzyWeb.com or at 612-4BizzyO. That's 612-424-9990, and both of those are included right on the slide right here. Would love to connect with you and interact. If you do have questions, oh, I do see that there are 4 questions. Thank you to Jen. I'm going to actually switch over to the Hangout so that we can see this. Carol asks, can you use the same post across different platforms? Example, sharing an Instagram pic in Facebook or posting the same thing on Facebook and Twitter. And yes, you absolutely can, Carol. What you'll want to consider on that is you want to make sure that you're not hitting the account with the same stuff all the time. And what I mean by that is if you connect your Twitter and your Facebook accounts and then you post a bunch of stuff to Twitter or you post a bunch of stuff on Facebook, it's possible to put yourself into a feedback echo tool or a feedback echo issue where you're kind of repeating yourself over and over again. Chris asks, can we get a recording of your webinar? And absolutely, Chris, you can get a recording of that, and this will be it'll be on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/BizzyWebcom, like BizzyWeb.com without the dot, and it'll actually be available in replay form right from the page that you were directed to, where you should be able to start right from beginning, starting right now actually. So that replay should be available right now. We can also send out to the registered participants a spreadsheet or post it somewhere. We're actually going to post the link to download those forms right on the page for today's event, and so be sure to look for that right after the event is over. So thank you very much, Stephanie. And oops, and our Nancy said this was great, and I apologize. Says have nothing on the screen. Can we get a recording of the webinar? And Carol asked something. I think we're set. So if you have any more questions, would love to. Oh, can you post on Facebook and Twitter? Says Stephanie. And yes, Stephanie, you can post on both places. You can actually set out and publish automatically via your website, as I covered a couple times. You can link your accounts together if you just want to focus on one network. However, if you do some things on that account or on Twitter alone, you have to be careful because first, it's every time you publish a post on Facebook and it auto posts to Twitter, it's going to link back to Facebook. That doesn't necessarily help you, it helps Facebook. Facebook doesn't need any more search engine optimization. I would rather that you post from your website across all of your networks if you're going to join anything together. So I do apologize to Bilal that you had to go to your phone, but hopefully everything's working now. Sometimes our Google Plus does have a couple of issues, especially around this noon hour, but certainly I'll hang on for another moment here if you do have more questions. Or again, be sure to send out a note. I'm going to put this screen back up again to sales@BizzyWeb.com, or give us a call at 612-4BizzyO. That's 612-424-9990. We are right at the top of the hour, so I want to respect your time and shut this down, but welcome your calls, your connections, and by all means, please get a hold of us if we can help you in any way, whether it's going to buzzyweb.com/buzz and getting that buzz report, or going to buzzyweb.com/cc to get access to that free template with a paid Constant Contact toolkit. Thanks very much. I am Dave Meyer of BizzyWeb, reminding you that at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Thanks, and talk to you next week.